In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a very elegant, festive, and unique chandelier. So if you want to learn how to make it, well then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, and the project I have for you tonight is definitely not for the beginning crafter. So if that's you, you can watch and enjoy, but you might want to steer clear of this one. Definitely something for people who've been crafting a while because it can be a bit challenging. Not to mention, okay, so it just happens that I wore this shirt that I leave a little sparkle. She leaves a bit of sparkle wherever she goes. Well, after this project, let me tell you, that is 100% fact because it is everywhere. I'm really anxious to show it to you all. It was much bigger. The inspiration one was a much bigger project than the one I actually made. I can't even imagine how much glitter would have been everywhere if I made the large version of this. So I'm super anxious to show it to you and hope you love it. But before I do, I would also love if you join our Glue Dot family by hitting that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit the bell next to it so that you will be informed when I upload new videos. Also, if you're enjoying my videos, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not, well, that's okay too. Leave me a comment below as well and let me know, you know what, if you give me a thumbs down, leave me a comment, let me know why. I'm always curious about that. Also, down below in the description box, if you're interested in entering to win a really cute bling owl keychain, you can do that right there. I do the drawing the first of every month, as well as a live chat where we get to know each other a little better. So it's always kind of fun. You can also find the link down below to join my Facebook group, Midnight Crafter Glue Dots, where you can post pictures and talk to each other and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun there too. You know, just all around, it's a lot of fun here. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into more fun and get into this video, okay? Let's do it. So as you can see, the first thing I did was went ahead and spray painted my wreaths white. And then I have these little dowels, which they're actually bamboo skewers. I got these at, I don't know if I got them just at the grocery store or where, and they're about 8 inches long and they have a pointed end and a flat end. So if you don't have these or access to these, another option for those would be chopsticks or even pencils. And so you want to spray paint those white as well. What we're going to be using those for is to help to keep a space between the two of these so that we can work on it more easily. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult to get the lights wrapped around and to get everything on them. So you're going to go ahead and find a spot to poke your skewer stick in, or whatever you're using, your chopstick or whatever that might be. And once you get that spot, we're going to find every about third so that you have, so that it's kind of evened out. I think that looks pretty even to me. If you want to, you can go ahead and measure yours. It also is going to be a little bit dependent on where the space is in your wreath to be able to stick it in there. Once you get those in place, go ahead and add some hot glue to keep them secure. And then the next thing we're going to be doing is adding on our top wreath. To get it kind of centered, you're going to maybe need to look from up above to see that it's hanging centered over your other wreath, and find places there as well to poke the sticks into and get those secured in place as well. And let your hot glue cool off so that it holds firmly in place. While we're waiting on that to cool, I have put a really generous amount of hot glue in each of these spots. So I'm going to put that off to the side and let it really, really cool off. In the meantime, take some of your little florals here and go ahead and start removing the berries from the stems. So I have a bunch of the berries already removed, and this amount of berries is actually from 8 of these Dollar Tree stems. What we're going to be doing is bringing back our wreath forms here, and we're going to be focusing on gluing these berries kind of down around, all the way around our wreath here. I'm going to stand it up so it's easier for me to work on. but you don't have to do it so much on the top part. Focus a little more around the sides and kind of down, because the distance in here is pretty great. So we're gonna have the red and then the silvery stuff and then more red. So we want that kind of to be filled in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing my berries in place here. And for a more natural look, kind of glue them in a little bit different directions, not everything exactly, you know, at the same angle. Kind of put some facing a little bit upward and some maybe facing slightly downwards. You can glue them in different spots. You don't necessarily have to glue them from the plastic part. So just all different directions so that they kind of fill in nicely and cover this area. Here's what I've got so far, just to give you an idea. And can keep continuing all the way around. So here's how mine is looking. I have to be careful how I show this and not to bump, but you go all the way around and get those all in place. And it does take some time for that hot glue to cool off. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take a little bit of a break from putting on those things, and we're gonna use our lights. Now I got this set of lights from the 99-cent store for $2.99, and it is the fairy light style, and it looks like these are like 21 feet long. So that's why I opted for this one. I'm going to be attaching my battery pack up here on top of my chandelier because I figure it's up high. People won't really be able to see it because they'll be looking more so from underneath. So I'm going to go with that. And if you want to, you can camouflage it too with a few more berries or some greenery or whatever you would like to do. Just do make sure that you're able, whatever you do, to get the top off so that you can replace the batteries. So I ended up using a pipe cleaner and wiring that through my wreath form around and just twisting it once so it kind of holds it into place. So the initial part from the battery pack on doesn't have any lights. So I'm going to kind of stash that up here on the top a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is start with my lights and wrapping them around. So keep going all the way around until you use up all of your lights. And okay, so my lights are all wrapped around. You can see them. I turned them on so that you'll actually be able to see them. And the next part's going to be a bit of a messy part. This is where we're going to be using our glittery pieces, and the next row we're going to be doing is going to be in between this berry row. And we're going to be doing this with berries as well. So we're going to have a very glittery, messy part, but we're going to be attaching these in between. Partially, you can attach them to the underneath side of your wreath form, kind of however you can get those attached. Now, because it's awkward, I'm going to kind of do this off camera because I need my hands and you guys won't be able to see what I'm doing. So I am just going to basically be attaching them and going all the way around my form here. Now, a little tip to help you get those to fit on better is to start giving these a bit of a bend. So I've kind of bent the stem part a bit, and I am kind of giving some bend to these pieces as well. We don't necessarily need them all to be bent, but that will help you to kind of get them into place and be able to attach them. I'm also kind of bringing them from underneath and shoving it into the kind of twininess here too, so that it will stick, and then I can add some hot glue up and through here. And then we're going to work on the next step once we get those into place. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much glitter everywhere. My husband's gonna die. If I could show you, you can't even see. I am covered in glitter. Anyway, this is what we have so far. And what we're going to be working on next is kind of doing the same thing we did up here, but we're going to be adding in the red berries down here. So go all the way around and add them in the same way that you did above. I suggest, so when you're putting on the berries on the bottom, that you put a bowl underneath to hold it off of your counter or your workspace, because you can see with the berries hanging down, it's going to make it difficult to actually have them sort of hang. Given this is going to be a chandelier, we want them kind of hanging downwards, so that's about the only way I can come up with, unless you have a place that you can hang this from to work. Putting it on a bowl really makes all the difference. So our next step, just to make things a little easier before we finish the lower part of our chandelier, we're going to be putting the pieces that we use to hang it. Now I'm going to give you a few options for that. And one of the options is using the Mardi Gras beads. And we're going to be doing, as we did with the skewer sticks, 3 different points. So you can use Mardi Gras beads. There's also this mesh tubing that is used normally for, a lot of people use it for wreath making. You can use that because when it stretches out, it still holds a nice firm shape. Also, if you go to a fabric store, there's this really nice cording. I only had it in gold, so that's probably not going to be an option for me to use since I'm doing silver. There's also the option of ribbon like this. This one I got from Costco, this roll. There's a lot of beautiful ribbons that you can use as well if you'd like to, and Dollar Tree has some real nice ribbon as well. And my first choice was actually going to be the chains that you can get at Dollar Tree, but it's usually during the summertime when they have the garden stuff out. So right now, unfortunately, that is not in season, so I was not able to get that, but that was my original choice, and to spray paint it silver. So there are some options for you. What we're going to be doing is find the 3 spots on the top where, if you want to use the same places where you had put your dowels in, I can see, you can't see them, but I can see I have one here, and one over here, which you can see from the inside. And we're going to go ahead and attach the whatever option you decide to use for hanging this. So I think I'm going to be using the Mardi Gras beads. I feel like it's pretty festive, and I'm going to need 3 strands. So I'm going to find and cut 3 equal lengths with this. I think even half a strand is probably enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and make 3 even strands. And then the weight of this is actually not too terribly heavy. So I'm going to find the spots that I want to put these. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to cut it into thirds so I have 3 pieces that I can use, 1 for each of my hanging parts. And then I'm going to wire these on and attach them with the pipe cleaner pieces. So I've gone ahead and put my pipe cleaner through, and I'm going to give it 1 twist around just to make it easier on me to work with. Then I'm going to put my beads in place. I'm going to leave a couple beads sticking out. And then I'm going to give it a twist again to my pipe cleaner. So if you can see there, I have, it's kind of going wrapped around 2 beads in, and then just twist it real tight. This way it holds this nice and securely in place. And I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other 2, and then we'll move on to the next step. Next, what I'm going to be doing is cutting another piece of pipe cleaner, probably about half the length of the pipe cleaner. And this we're going to be using to connect all 3 of our pieces here together and to make a loop for the top. What I'm going to do is form a small loop here to be able to pass the beads through. I'm putting 2 in from one side and 1 in from the other side, just so that it's a little more evened out. And then tighten that up real good. Twist that pipe cleaner around so it holds all 3 of those pieces, those little strands together. And then we're going to create a loop from this to use to hang this from wherever we decide to hang it from. So that's what we have now for the top part. Now for this next part, if you have a place to hang this from to work, that would be your ideal situation. In the meantime, I'm going to start putting together my next grouping that's going to be the final piece that hangs down underneath. So to make the bottom piece that we're going to be attaching, we're going to take that other half of the pipe cleaner and 2 more of our 8-inch sticks here that we, or pencils or chopsticks. And we're going to be attaching these firmly together by twisting our pipe cleaner and then going both directions so that we have it so they don't move around and it stays in that cross shape. So you should have something like this, and it should be pretty firmly put together. I didn't spray paint these white, I totally forgot, and I don't think they're going to show too much, so we should be okay. So now back to the very glittery, messy glitter. We're going to be taking our last 2 pieces of the I don't know what you call these, the sticks or whatever they would be called. And give them a good bend so that this piece is folded. These are what we're going to have hanging down underneath our chandelier. And spread those branches out a bit. We're going to be attaching these to our little cross piece here. Because a lot of it is touching the stick, you can go ahead and just hot glue that to the stick there. And then the other one's going to go on the opposite stick. So the other one's going to come from this side, pass kind of through the middle of your sticks, and cross over. Now you can use some of your sticks to wrap around and hold this in place because this side's not going to lay very flat since it's on top of the other one. You can take some of your branches and wrap them and hold that in place. I'm going to do the same with the other side, even though I glued it, just so that it kind of has the same effect on both sides. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to tell, but this is what we've got so far. I'm just going to hot glue this so it doesn't slide around. This is my other stick. Okay, lastly, in the middle of all of this, we're going to be creating our last little bit of red. And you can either leave this all together. What I'm going to do though is pull off the leaves because I don't want the leaves. Or if you don't want to leave it all together, what you can do is just glue in your pieces underneath here to form a bunch. So I'm just going to glue together probably 3 of them so they look like a nice little cluster. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach those into the inside of all those silver sticks. If you have the patience and the skill level to do this, this is absolutely a gorgeous project, guys. Once you have your cluster together, you're going to go ahead and go to the center part of your sticks here where you have the piece of pipe cleaner still hanging down, and put glue on your pipe cleaner, pretty good amount, and then center the cluster and attach it. Just kind of press it right in there. Let that cool off really, really well before you do anything else. So the next thing we're going to do, it's easier if you have somewhere to hang this. We're going to be inserting from underneath your crisscross piece, and then we're going to be gluing that into place. I can't hold it and glue it at the same time, so I'm sure you guys can figure out. We just need to get this glued in, so that's all you have to do. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is put the batteries in these. I don't know that I'm actually gonna be lighting them up because that would require turning each one of them on every time. But they come in the package like this, and there are 6 batteries, 3 for each one. And it's really easy to put them together. You just unscrew the top and put the batteries with the worded side facing up. You put in 3 of them, all in the same direction with the words up, and screw the top on, and that's it. So when you, of course, oh, there we go. And then you just, as you turn this, now if you have this problem and you're turning it and it's not lighting up, just unscrew it and adjust that little wire in there and make sure that it's actually kind of on a little bit onto the battery. And then as you turn the lid, then you'll be able to actually turn the lights on. So just a little bit of troubleshooting in case you have a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and just hang these on various spots on the chandelier, and then I'm going to show you it up, and I'm excited. Don't forget the thumbs up, guys, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this project. It was a challenging one, but I think it turned out really nice. Okay, let's go check it out. and let that dry, and let your hot glue cool, and let your hot glue dry off, or and let your hot